Hi everyone! Thank you so much for joining us as we make this video today. I'm Maggie and later we'll be joined by Amelia Thompson. Today we are continuing our discussion of bird courtship by talking through the love life of great horned owls. Here to help me with this discussion is our male great horned owl, Bubba. Bubba was brought to Wildlife Rescue New Mexico with a broken wing. He was rehabilitated and scheduled to be released back into the wild, but unfortunately there must have been pain that was causing him discomfort, and he self-amputated his wing at the wrist joint before he could be released back into the wild. He is housed and cared for by David Buckley, and his name comes from the scientific name for great horned owls, which is Bubo virginianus. The first chapter of the great horned owl love story is finding a mate, or the meet cute of great horned owls, as I like to think. Great horned owls rely on their excellent hearing for hunting, but they also use their hearing to detect the repetitive hooting of the opposite sex. Once a pair have found each other, males approach the females by bowing and hooting. The males then exhibit a courtship display by turning his head sideways and bobbing it up and down while making a series of deep, resonant calls. And this is what that sounds like. The birds will share in duetting. He definitely hears that. So that was duetting between the great horned owls, which is the calls back and forth. And the duetting is usually accompanied by allopreening, meaning the preening of one another's feathers. So the romance is really there for those great horned owls. Next, the honeymooning couple needs to find a nest. Great horned owls occupy territories year-round and long-term, but like many other owl species, they do not build their own nests. Instead, they choose to occupy already constructed nests. According to Birds of the World, great horned owls have the widest range of nest sites than any other bird in the Americas, which I didn't know until very recently. They most commonly use stick nests built by other species of raptors in whatever type of tree is available, but they will also use cavities, snags, cliffs, deserted buildings, artificial platforms, ledges, pipes, and even will lay their eggs on the ground. And they've been recorded using stick nests from all different types of birds, including herons, crows, ravens, and even nests built by squirrels. Once the couple have picked their nesting site, it's time to lay their eggs. Great horned owls usually only have one clutch of eggs per breeding season, but have been recorded laying a second clutch if their first clutch is destroyed somehow early in the season. The female usually lays 1 to 4 eggs, and their incubation period is 30 to 37 days. So when does this amazing great horned owl love story begin? The time of year in which males start calling for mates depends on what region an owl lives in and how abundant prey is that year. Males start vocally advertising themselves as early as September or October in Utah. And here in Albuquerque, it's usually a little later. No matter where a great horned owl lives or how early they start to lay eggs, they're always one of the earliest raptors to lay their eggs. And sometimes they lay their eggs up to 2 months earlier than other raptors in their area. Just the other week, I was outside and I saw 2 great horned owls duetting to one another outside, and I was in a pretty busy urban area, so that was really, really special to see in real life. And they were bobbing their heads up and down, which is a telltale sign they are a courting pair, which was really, really cool to see. We are going to move to Amelia with our next great horned owl to talk more about their life.
All right. So Dulcita is a female great horned owl, and she's just a bit bigger and heavier than Bubba the male. She's going to help me talk about raising chicks. You might remember that Dulcita is one of our best foster parents. This means that when we get great horned owl baby chicks, like we do almost every year, she takes them under her wing, she feeds them, and teaches them how to be wild great horned owls. And, later they will learn how to hunt and be re-released. Dulcita cannot be released into the wild because she has a head injury that causes balance issues. Baby great horned owls are altricial. This means that when they're born, they can't take care of themselves. They're not born with any feathers, they have their eyes closed, and they can't eat for themselves. The other word, precocial, you might be more familiar with in baby ducks. When ducks are hatched, they have full feathers, they can walk, and feed themselves not long after coming out of the egg. Now, nesting female great horned owls have a brood patch, which is a patch of featherless skin on their underside of their belly. Now, some bird species pick out the feathers to create a brood patch, and some birds have hormone changes every year that causes them to lose those feathers. There's extra blood that comes to that patch of skin right there, extra blood vessels that help to transfer more warmth to the eggs they're sitting on and the baby chicks as well. After the breeding season ends, they regrow those feathers, and then the brood patch area returns back to normal. Now, great horned owl babies grow very rapidly, and they're usually ready to venture out of the nest around 6 to 7 weeks. At around 6 weeks after hatching, they're what we call branchers, meaning that they've moved out to a nearby branch. And by week 7, they become fledglings, where they're learning how to fly. Now, those first flights can be very awkward, much like a teenager learning how to drive. By weeks 9 to 10, they have learned how to fly quite well, and they might hang around their parents throughout the summer, continuing to beg for food, just like an overgrown child living in your house and eating all of the food that you have. But by the fall, they're completely independent and ready to start their own territories and begin the process all over again. We want to thank you so much for tuning into this video this week to learn all about great horned owls and baby season. Keep your eyes peeled for these birds, as this is the best time of year to be seeing them during the daytime as they sit on their nests. Hawks Aloft volunteers and employees go out every year and track these nests and their babies, and will be doing so shortly in the next couple of weeks. Let us know if you've got any questions or any suggestions for future videos you would like to see. Thank you again for tuning in and all of your support that you give us every week, and we'll see you next week.